My sister's family and myself started growing Christmas trees on my property. During the 2005 growing season, we started growing vegetables during the 2008 growing season. Our Big Rock Farms farm stand located in the town was opened during the 2008 season. It is the goal of Big Rock Farms and myself to make a living off the farm and land. I was born and raised in the town of Stanford. My family has been living in the town for at least 6 generations. I own a large parcel of land in town which is used for agricultural purposes. I've been self-employed for most of my working years in the construction and land planning fields. During a portion of these years, I did much work for R.T. Mead Land Surveyor and Land Planner, which included representing his clients before many planning boards and ZBAs in northern Dutchess County. The majority of this construction and land planning work was performed within the town of Stanford. Last year, Big Rock Farms was associated with an application submitted to the planning board to open up a farmer's market on the front lawn of the Campbell House, the large yellow Victorian house across from the McCarthy's Pharmacy. The proposed farmer's market would have allowed for 12 farmers' vendors to set up weekly on the front lawn to sell their local produce or farm-related products. The farmer's market would have been, in addition to our already existing Big Rock Farms farm stand, located on the same property. There was overwhelming support and excitement from many of the locals for the proposed farmers market. After several months of attending planning board meetings, we have just withdrawn this application. We withdrew the application because the special use permit requirements and the site plan requirements and the planning board's consultant fees made the approval process cost prohibitive when compared to the projected revenues of the farmers market. If the town is to be serious about promoting agriculture, it seems that the approval process shouldn't include some of the following that occurred during our application process. Unlike when the planning board discussed and agreed to refer our project to their consulting engineer, there is no such agreement by the board to refer our project to their consulting attorney. The minutes of the meetings make no mention of such a discussion or agreement either. As a result, $1,737 in charges at a rate of $195 an hour came as a total surprise to us. An additional $663 in charges were for the consulting attorney's work on drafts of approvals and resolutions that had already been approved 3 weeks prior. I'm not sure why the attorney had to prepare a draft for something that had already been voted on and approved 3 weeks before. The planning board scheduled the first public hearing at the wrong time during the process, so a second public hearing had to be scheduled. Therefore, we had to spend the time and pay for advertising the public hearing and pay for mailing the certified notices to the adjoining property owners 2 times rather than 1 time. I feel that most of these consulting costs that we paid for already totaling $4,193 when the application was withdrawn were unnecessary and could have been handled differently by the board. In my opinion, the withdrawing of this application for the farmers market is a sad day for the town of Stanford, especially when one considers that the town's master plan designates agriculture to be of the utmost importance to the town, and that the town's zoning ordinance states under legislative authority to accommodate and promote agricultural activity within the town. In addition, it seems that the strict site plan approval requirements should be looked at, especially when one considers that the town does not get their own projects reviewed and approved by the planning board. The following town projects were built with no planning board review or approval: site work, construction, upgrade of the swimming pond at the rec area, site work, upgrade of the rec bathhouse, construction of chlorine building, site work, installation of the walking path. He lists a number of projects. All these projects turned out fine and still serve the town well. It seems a bit puzzling to me when the proposed development and disturbance necessary for our farmers market paled in comparison to what was necessary for the majority of the town projects. When one considers the fact that agriculture is the foundation of the town, it would seem that agricultural projects should be afforded at least some of the same treatment. So based on my history and past experience, I believe I can make a positive contribution to the town of Stanford Farm and Agriculture Board. I would look for ways to encourage and maintain agriculture in general, including recommending a more common sense approach to agricultural regulations and site plan approvals so as to encourage agricultural activities within the town. Thank you for considering. And we got one last letter today from Aaron Zire. My name is Erin Zier. I'm writing with regard to the newly formed Farm and Ag Committee. I have worked on local dairy farms for the past 10 years and am soon to be a local dairy farmer myself. I'm very familiar with agriculture in our region and in fact have a degree of applied science in dairy production and management from SUNY Cobleskill. I feel that I'm a qualified individual for such a committee, and I would like to be involved with the preservation and promotion of local farmland and agriculture, as well as becoming involved in my community, of which I have been a resident all my life. So those are the 5 applicants. I think they certainly offer a range of people and variation and a lot of experience in farming and coming at it from different ways. So I would like to propose that we simply appoint all of these people to all these candidates to the committee of the letters that I have read. I don't know if there would be a second for that, or if you want to go about it in a different way.
I would second that.
Okay.
Only question I have is there a budget for this committee?
There is no budget yet, and in fact we have not determined terms. You know, because usually on a committee there will be one person's term coming up every year. So what has been suggested when I've talked to other towns and also to somebody up at the Association of Towns is that they will simply, someone will have a 5-year term, someone will have a 4-year, 3-year, 2-year, and my thinking was that they could simply decide that among themselves as to their terms, who was going to do that and who would be up next year.
Yeah.
May I ask a question? When this farm board was originally, the idea was conceived, didn't in the letter say that they were going to go by grants and no monies from the town would be expended?
There doesn't seem to be anything that right now would cost the town anything. They certainly could propose a budget if they felt they had one. What they wanted to be was a resource.
Right.
That was the idea of it. An advisory committee and a resource.
Yeah, because I think Lisa Kilman wrote the letter and said that she would get grants and things to, you know, for the committee or whatever. I think it's a good idea.
Well, the grants would be for farmers. I mean, but that would be the
like they look into stuff.
The research
they would
the resources they would be looking for.
Do we have to set a number of members as well?
5.
5. So that's
5 is a good is a good number, and we got 5 letters.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I think it's a good idea, a good committee. I just wondering about a budget number. That's all.
Okay. We'll take it to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All right. The last item on our agenda, other than other, is to appoint a comprehensive plan committee members. And as we have spoken, and as we've had legal consultation about this, I think I would make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss the appointment.
Second.
I'd just like to comment that we didn't do that for the Agriculture Committee.
I don't think anybody felt they needed to discuss the applicants. It is advised that if you're going to discuss applicants individually, that you should that we should go into executive session.
So we should have done that for the lawyer then.
Yes,
Thank you.
we should have done that for.
Okay, before we go into executive session, can we go to either the other or the privilege of the floor? So
No,
if people
no, I would like